If you've ever felt a strange sense of relief after cleaning out a drawer you've been avoiding, you know the feeling. It's not just satisfaction. It's not just productivity. It's that quiet exhale. Like something inside you just settled. People who love to declutter often think they just like things tidy. But it usually runs deeper than that, because decluttering isn't really about objects. It's about what those objects represent. When you start sorting through a messy space, your brain registers completion. Every decision, keep or toss, closes a small open loop. And every closed loop gives you a subtle reward, that small rush you feel. That's your brain recognizing order where there was once uncertainty. But it's not only chemical, it's psychological control. In a world where most things are unpredictable, people's reactions, work demands, shifting relationships, your physical space is one of the few places where you have full authority. You decide what stays, you decide what leaves. There's no negotiation. That sense of control can feel grounding. And for many people, especially those who carry anxiety quietly, clutter isn't neutral. It's visual noise. It's unfinished business sitting in plain sight. The brain doesn't fully relax around chaos. Even if you tell yourself you don't mind it, your nervous system still registers it. So organizing becomes more than cleaning. It becomes regulation. If your job feels unstable, you might reorganize your desk. If a relationship feels confusing, you might deep clean your room at midnight. If life feels uncertain, you create certainty in small physical ways. That's not obsession, that's protection. And here's where it gets interesting. People assume decluttering is about being minimal or disciplined, but often it's about identity. Look at the things we keep. Old clothes from a phase we've outgrown. Hobbies we thought would define us. Gifts from people we no longer talk to. Objects quietly hold versions of who we used to be. Letting go of them isn't just practical. It can feel emotional. When someone throws away business clothes from a career they left, or donates items from a relationship that ended, they're not just clearing space. They're releasing an old identity. That's why decluttering can feel surprisingly heavy and surprisingly freeing. It's a way of saying, I'm not that version of me anymore. And allowing that truth without shame. There's also the mental load people don't talk about. A closet packed with clothes you never wear isn't abundance. It's dozens of silent decisions waiting for you every morning. The more options you have, the more your brain has to filter. And over time, that filtering drains energy. People who love decluttering often crave simplicity not because they dislike things, but because they value mental clarity. Fewer objects mean fewer micro-decisions. Fewer decisions mean less cognitive noise. And less noise feels like peace. But there's another layer. Sometimes decluttering becomes a reset ritual. After a breakup, before a new year. During a period of reinvention, external order mirrors internal change. An empty shelf doesn't just look clean, it feels like potential. Space to become someone new, space to breathe differently. It's not about perfection, it's about starting over without carrying unnecessary weight. Of course, like any behavior, it can tip too far. If organizing becomes the only way someone feels safe, it may signal deeper anxiety underneath. But in its balanced form, the love of decluttering isn't superficial. It's self-soothing. It's identity editing. It's control in a world that rarely offers it. So when you see someone happily reorganizing their space for the third time this month, it might not be about aesthetics. It might be about calming their nervous system, or quietly stepping into a new version of themselves, or reclaiming a sense of agency they didn't have elsewhere. It was never just about the drawer. It was about what the drawer represented. And once you notice that, you start to see that these small behaviors we dismiss as habits are often deeply personal patterns. Not random, not shallow, just human. If this explains something you felt but never put into words, there's always more beneath the surface. Understanding your patterns doesn't change who you are, but it changes how clearly you see yourself.